Welcome back to our extended edition of Nzone Focus on the Christchurch earthquake. One of the most remarkable aspects of those chaotic minutes immediately after the quake was the number of ordinary men and women who put their own lives at risk to save others trapped in the wreckage. One of them was Craig Robertson from Hornby Presbyterian Church. He was part of the team pulling survivors from the wreckage of the PGC building, and footage that he shot during the rescue has been shown on television all over the world. He shared his story with Alan Lee.
Well, let's start at the very beginning. What were you doing at 9 minutes to 1 on that day?
I was at home here having lunch with my wife, standing at the counter and just having lunch. When the quake hit, you could hear it sounded like a freight train coming through, and we looked at each other and whack, all of a sudden happened. So I basically had onto the counter and I couldn't get over how the car was physically sliding across the driveway. Wow. My wife ran for the door, obviously, and as soon as it was over, we disappeared and went and picked the kids up from school. I went down to Christian Emmanuel School to pick Jessie up, and of course that's when the second one happened, so I spent 20 minutes down there just helping the teachers settle the kids. Brought Jessie back here to make sure the family were okay. And I got a call to go and assist with the search and rescue team in town.
So what was it like when you got into the city centre? We've seen the city centre in the aftermath. So what was it like in the immediate?
Unbelievable. I was there 30 to 45 minutes after the aftermath, and just everywhere you looked, it was a mess.
So you went to the PGG building, which we've seen, which even seconds after the quake was already a wreck, a write-off.
Yes.
So when you first saw that collapsed building with all the floors concertinaed together, what was your initial thought?
I was fairly shocked, considering I was in that building the day beforehand, less than 24 hours prior to it. I couldn't believe it. It was just amazing. And just to see it collapse and pancake like that, and then looking at it, knowing the reality that there's probably people inside there and how they could survive. You know how heavy is a concrete block? Well, there's some big concrete beams go through there. And you're just thinking, this is not good. Yeah. We were transported around there in a bus, introduced to one of the fire chiefs, and he split us up into different groups, and I was assigned, along with approximately 20 other people, to the roof on the PGG building. We were up there, the engineers were up there. We discussed, I didn't discuss, but the appropriate people discussed where to cut the hole, etc., where the beams were running and all that. Then we got into it with some sledgehammers and crowbars. A couple of guys brought up some concrete and steel saws.
So they cut a hole in the roof, because the roof's not straight at the stage, is it?
No, it's on a bit of a lean. Yeah. And
then so they cut the hole, and then you look through the hole. What do you see once that slab?
Well, the first hole they cut was down the other end of the building, and I didn't see all the people getting out because we were busy doing other things, but I believe 4 to 6 people got out of that hole straight away, which was great. They did a bit of a rummage around, couldn't see anybody else in that hole or immediately. So the destruction engineers and the fire brigade started talking about cutting the second hole in the roof, which was to the left side of the building, near the flagpole, and started boring down there. So when we opened up that hole, it was everything that we'd expect in an office: insulation and ducting that you don't see in an office, all compacted and squashed into around about 2.5 to 3 feet. And then, sure enough, as we started pulling out broken desks and computers and office chairs and cut through the insulation and wiring and whatever else that was required to get down there, you find someone and they hop out, and then you start boring through the next hole, and it took around about a good 40-45 minutes, I guess.
So during this time, people who are trapped are phoning out as well, so they've got their mobile phone, so you knew there were people in there?
We knew there were people in there. Yep.
And you spoke to one?
Yeah, I spoke to a few people actually. They had come to a stage where they weren't sure where people were. So I asked the fire chief if we can go and find some further information. I went down and spoke to this lady. I have no idea who she was, but she was running the fire command unit and did a fantastic job. We went and saw some of the bystanders, and they offered phone numbers forward, and we rang those people and managed to get hold of, I think Anne was one of them initially, and Rosalind. I spoke to her on the phone and she described where she was. Rosalind at the time, and I didn't realise, but she was a little bit unclear where she was because it was her first day on the job, so she didn't know the building either. But she was great, and she described who was with her and sort of roughly pinpointed the direction they were, so we knew to head that kind of direction, well, the team around us.
So Rosalind comes out, and incredibly, she's walking. You would think that, having seen the space that she's squashed into, that she'd be badly injured.
Yep, and there were plenty of those sites around as well.
She managed to climb up the ladder?
Yeah, she was very lucky. Talking to her yesterday, she said she had dived underneath her desk and kind of got pushed out of the way. I think that's what she said. And they were able to create their own wee cavity, which is fantastic, but you just look at it and you're going, you know how many hundreds of tons of concrete in there, and desks don't hold that up, office chairs don't hold that up, cabinetry doesn't hold that up, and they were so lucky to be in a space where that was created, and she came out, bumps and bruises of course, and some other people came out, had broken hands and stuff like that, but it's just so lucky. Considering she's getting married in about 4 weeks, her fiancé was very pleased to see her. Yeah.
Do you see, it's hard to sometimes see the hand of God in tragedies like this, but I guess maybe that's what you're talking about.
Quite possibly. I've asked myself that question, seeing the hand of God and that sort of thing. I've got to be honest, for me it's a bit hard to see that in it when you see other unfortunate people around.
Does that challenge your faith?
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's the circumstances of the time at the end of the day. Not everybody gets a get out of jail free card. For the likes of Rosalind and those other people that came out, they, I would like to think that the Lord certainly had their hand upon them and protected them to a certain extent, that they're able to live another day, sort of thing. And if that means that they come to know the Lord if they don't already know, that would be fantastic. But yeah, it's God. He's the overall power, and He's the one that will dictate that. So.
Why do you do it? Because you put yourself in danger in the place where other people were already in danger. Why do you do it?
I guess you probably asked, why not? Why not? If someone needs a hand, you go and give it to them. It's not a case of doing the righteous thing or the right thing or the wrong thing. It's just a case of, flip me, there could be live people in there, and you get in there to make it happen.
A remarkable story from First Response Rescuer Craig Robertson. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll join Christians from around the country and the world in prayer for Christchurch. Back soon.